Hi, folks. Welcome to Seattle Public Utilities Ask Evelyn Live, where we answer your questions about recycling, compost, garbage, and other trashy topics. Welcome to episode 34, Packaging and Holiday Lights. I'm your host, Becca Fong, and I bring you lots of information about recycling and compost. I send you guys all those fantastic flyers in the mail. It's in the process. And every week I'm joined with my fantastic co-host, who's going to be logging on here in just a second. All right, and here he is. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, my name is Pat Kaufman. I'm the Commercial Recycling Program Manager for Seattle Public Utilities. Really happy to be here. Thanks.
Awesome. So we're really glad that you guys could join us. Every week we answer questions from folks like you, and we encourage you keep those coming. Our show completely runs on your questions. So just send them to us either at askevelyn@seattle.gov, or you can send them to us in our various social feeds, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, of course. So this month we are focused on waste-free holidays. So maybe with an eye towards just, making a little bit less during the holiday season when we tend to consume a few more things. So with that, Pat, why don't we kick it off with our first question this week?
All right, question number one. It is from a person named Albert. Hi, Evelyn. I have a lot of boxes and other packaging materials from ordering things online. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Are there ways to cut down on this? I'm getting ready to send off gifts and I'm feeling bad about sending more packaging to other people. Thanks, Albert. Yeah, so it's a good point. Short answer, quick answer. Yes, there's lots of ways you can reduce packaging. You can reuse things. You can reduce packaging via the way you purchase things. So we'll talk about some of that. Yeah, I think one of the main things to do is, if you purchase things online, you really want to get to know your vendor, get to know the website. There's little pockets of the website, little points along the journey of click to purchase, add to cart. But then when you go to checkout, there's some options there. I'm not as familiar about some of them. Becca,
Sure.
Do you want to talk about some of those specifics?
Absolutely. I definitely order a lot of stuff online, and with the pandemic, that has definitely increased. And absolutely. So every vendor has a slightly different way of handling it.
Right.
And you really want to look at your different options. So usually at shipping or checkout, what you can do, the best thing to do is to look and have all of your orders bundled together. Some places have it listed as bundle all of your packages together, which will mean that your shipping will be delayed a little bit, but it means instead of getting like 6 smaller packages, you're going to get 1 larger package. And it's December 2nd, so you guys have lots of time before your various gift giving holidays if you celebrate those. So that's one option. And then another thing you can also do is you can also, I think some vendors also give you an opportunity to choose a single day to have things delivered. I know that Amazon does this, where you have something, if you are a Prime member, you choose a Prime day. So whenever you order anything during the week, it will come on a designated day. So say your day is Thursday, anything that you order up into a point in the week will get delivered on Thursday. And that generally will cut down on the amount of packaging. So,
And I know that some of their, the challenges on that is depends on what warehouse it's coming from. The source of the material is, of course, is going to decide whether or not they can bundle them. They would love to probably put everything in one box and ship it to you. It'd be easier for them, easier for delivery, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the point is they got to move it. They got to get it off the queue and move it out of the warehouse. So those folks who can do that, that's great. I think what I've heard from folks who've done that is that sometimes you order 7 things, you still get 7 boxes,
Right.
Sometimes you can get a couple things bundled though by doing that. So again, it's all about, like I say, get to know your sales vendor, like their website and the checkout process. And there's sometimes reduce my packaging is an option. You can pay more to have less packaging, I think, from some vendors. So it's kind of like going to the grocery store. It's you can buy in bulk, you can buy certain products that are packaged certain ways to reduce packaging, but you have to kind of invest in that. You have to take a moment to look at that, and then sometimes pay a little more, but really I think you save is usually
you generally
process.
do. And I think, a lot of online vendors, their number one priority is to get you your product as quickly as possible. So they're invested in making the quickest option the kind of priority one. But if you guys kind of key into some of those options to bundle your packages together, that's fantastic. But It sounds like Albert, if he's in the same situation that I'm in, I just have a lot of packaging at my house. And so some good things too is you can always reuse your packaging. We had a coworker who was talking to us about reusing all of their stash to repackage and re-gift presents that she was sending to her family. So that's it's a great opportunity to do that.
Like, you could take a box and you could flip it inside out. You have a brand new box, right?
Totally.
I mean, that's a good option.
Exactly.
Or an old
nice and clean
grocery bag. You can just take a bag, a grocery bag, and turn it into the inside. It has no printing on it. So you can create, nice, clean packaging for your deliveries. Even I think it's kind of nice to like decorate the actual parcel that's going through postage. Give a little cheer here and there.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, my daughter received a birthday package because she was having a socially distanced birthday, and it was really adorable. One of her friends had decorated the outside of her present box with all of these cartoon characters from one of their favorite movies, My Neighbor Totoro, and it was adorable. We still have that box because it feels so special.
Oh, that's good.
So there are some really good options, Albert, to kind of reuse things. And if you have too much, another option too is to offer up a lot of that packaging. I mean, cardboard boxes, paper, the air pillows, all of those things. Folks are usually, I see that a lot on my Buy Nothing group and social feeds. People are giving that stuff away, and it moves pretty quick. You'd be surprised how many folks are looking for those things, especially as folks are mailing more stuff now or moving locations or doing whatever they're doing with it. So
moving boxes. I mean, if you can say what size the box is a little bit, then you've a better chance to have a taker on it too. Good picture.
Absolutely. I think one other thing, we did talk a lot about digital, but we talked about it last week and we'll definitely be talking about it more this month, is just shop your block, right? So in-store pickup is the #1 way to reduce your packaging. If you're ordering from a big box, that's one option. You can certainly do in-store pickup. You can also shop your block, support your local retailers, give them a call, check out their website, and you can physically go down there, contactless pickup, and
bring your own bag.
Bring your own bag.
Yeah, no box needed.
Exactly. Like I bought a book at a local bookstore and they were like, "Do you want a receipt?" I'm like, "Nope, I don't want a receipt. I want a bag. I'm gonna stick
really
with my
cool.
bag."
A lot of cash registers now, they don't print the receipt until the clerk presses the button, it seems. they don't even print it. Like a lot of times it's like, "Do you want the receipt?" It's like, well, if you printed it already, sure, I'll take it. But if it's not, if it's the next step, I like that. That's reducing paper.
And a lot of small businesses are using Square, which is, an electronic format. And if you have an email attached to that, they can just send you an electronic receipt. So definitely in-store pickup is the best way to reduce your packaging if you can do that. So remember to shop your block, and we'll put links to that awesome program with an interactive map in our show notes.
Sounds good.
All right. And actually, we had one more little teaser because we get so many questions about packaging, like all this packaging that's behind me. That we had in one of our other shows. In 2 weeks, we are going to be doing an episode all about packaging, our Package Palooza episode. So if you guys have questions or certain types of packaging that you have questions about, please, you have 2 weeks, send them to us. Send us some pictures. You can tag us on social, or you can certainly send them to askevelyn@seattle.gov email. So bring them on.
Absolutely. Bring on the packaging. There's so many different levels and types and varieties of packaging. We want to see it all. Of course, a lot of that might come after the holidays, after you open gifts or receive things. But, as you're going through your holiday gathering of things or just normal consumption process, I mean, let's just take that. And we're going to have a good time. We're going to try and do some rapid fire packaging palooza kind of assessments, challenge each other on some stuff. I'm going to get some stuff you've never seen before.
I know, right? I know. So send us some stuff and we'll use it to stump each other too. So that'll be great. So 2 weeks, Package Palooza. Send us your ideas or your questions. All right. Question 2. This is coming up in my house. It is now December. Holiday lights. So we got a question from Shirley. And Shirley writes, "Hi, Evelyn. What do I do with holiday lights? I have a lot of those incandescent lights, both the big ones and the little ones, and a lot of them are broken. So is it possible for me to recycle them? And then what happens when they're recycled?" So really, really great question. We get this a lot. Everybody's kind of dusting off their lights and pulling them out. You plug them in and you're like, "Oh no, these are like all broken or so many of them are burnt out." So the quick answer, Shirley, is yes, they are recyclable, but only at drop-off locations. So we will talk a little bit more about that in a second. Never put them in your recycle cart. They are not acceptable in the recycling. They are just a tangly mess.
Yeah, when
So
you hear that holiday lights or seasonal lights are recyclable, what people are saying is it's a drop-off program only. You got to go to the specific stores that are participating, so you really have to look it up. And King County is really the agency that's kind of providing that message and that resource, that information to the region, I think.
absolutely. So, I had to get out my lights, so I thought I'd bring
Oh,
some.
let's see. What do you got? Oh, that's a
So,
classic. Yeah.
because
LEDs.
really the only part in these lights that's recyclable is, you've got, this is plastic
Right.
here, and then it's got a plastic coating on it.
Oh, yeah. Lots of
And,
plastic.
none of this plastic is recyclable, right? It's what is recyclable is the copper wire inside.
Right.
And
And
so,
it is so small. It's only probably like 3 or 4 little strands, of like the
yes,
smallest gauge of twisted wire.
totally.
But, because I've tried to repair them before. So you cut it open, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to combine? You have to get your soldering gun out or whatever these things are. So they're not, I mean, repairing lights is definitely an option. I mean, people do it.
I
At least
applaud
getting
you.
the right bulbs. Now, that's the other thing. I saw in a commercial, Home Depot had this like app where you can take a picture of the light bulbs on your strand and it will match it up to like but they don't offer every single manufactured bulb ever sold, I don't think. So, give it a shot. I mean, I'll probably, when I finally get around to getting our lights out, I might have to do that myself. So maybe I'll know more next week. But
All
but
right.
basically, try to get a bulb, try to replace a strand rather than tossing it. But if it's definitely shot, if it's definitely gotten cut or damaged to a point where it's not just a missing bulb, then the recycle holiday light program is a good option.
Absolutely. And so we'll put a link to King County's program in there. But I
Nice.
think
Look
that
at
it
you.
is definitely important to kind of it'll list a whole bunch of different vendors, and you want to call them to make sure that they're accepting the lights, because
Right.
like we said, it's not super valuable. The process that they use for this is, and Pat and I will probably do a little bit more research as we get into the season, is they shred it. So they used to, a
Yeah.
long time ago, they used to burn the plastic off, which is not a great deal.
Yep.
Nobody wants to do that. Burning plastic,
Nope.
never good. But now what they do is they shred it because they need to remove all of the plastic from the metal that's inside. So
Right.
not every recycler or take back location is going to have access to a vendor who can do that. So you definitely want to call and make sure. I know for sure on the list there's some Ace Hardwares, there's McClendon's that's close to me in White Center.
Right.
So
Right.
you have some options, but definitely
There's some independent hardware stores too. Yeah, the website lists a bunch by area, and it's King County. So, you just have to leave Seattle a little ways and you'll find a store. There might be a couple in Seattle as well, but it's mostly probably stores that are surrounding Seattle. Probably.
Absolutely. And we did look like Recycle Depot does take them for drop
Oh,
off,
yeah.
and so does West Seattle
West
Recycling.
Seattle.
So,
Right. Right.
those guys are great.
All
So
right.
the other thing we want to talk about, because you guys are very, very environmentally focused and you want to look at how to decrease your environmental impact as much as possible. Pat, you talked about reuse, which is always great.
Yes.
I've definitely seen people posting on my social feeds like, hey, I have this strand of lights. Do you have any extra lights? Which is great. But we switched a lot to LEDs. So that's, one way to really decrease your environmental footprint if you are in the market for new lights is these are going to use way less energy, which is really great.
Yeah. And in my experience, they're just way more durable. I mean, I'm not, the classic lights that we've all seen forever, the I don't know what you call them, incandescent, I guess.
Incandescent lights, yeah.
Version of the light. But the LED lights, I have a strand that I've been using up and down the front of the house this is my 7th year in a row.
That's
on the
great.
same strand. And
Wow.
so that's just like unheard of in light life.
Oh, totally.
But we'll see if I pull them out this year. I'm gonna plug them in before I go on the roof. That's for sure. I always do that. I don't want to get up there and have it not work. So, but yeah, basically, LEDs, good way to go.
Absolutely. We've had these for a really long time. And,
Good.
those of you who watch the show know that I have small children, so they are not gentle on things at all. And we've had these for, I can't even remember how many years. It may be 6 or 7. So I've definitely got my money's worth. And look, they're still going strong. It's my first plug-in,
Yeah.
so I'm glad they all work.
Nice. You're looking very festive.
Absolutely. It's December 1st. My family is all into it. They're like, we need some celebration this year. I'm like, absolutely. All right, folks. Albert, Shirley, thank you so much for those questions. And again, we'll have some links to some of the resources in our show notes. All right. So we're at the part of our show when we get to the weekly waste challenge because, everybody needs a chance to up their game a little bit. And we're definitely there with you. And we always want a chance to just try a few new things. So our last week's challenge was to buy local and take whatever steps we could to reduce our kind of packaging waste. And so, Pat, did you want to go first here?
Well, my buy local thing mostly is the reusable building material stores.
Oh yeah.
I'm just more of a hardware and projects around the house kind of shopper. I haven't been to Goodwill in months. I mean, I think they closed for a time. They're open again, but I haven't re-entered the Goodwill thrift store. I do enjoy a good thrift visit every now and then, so I'll probably get over there just for Christmas stuff. But the other thing I'll mention is so there's three really good, at least three good reusable building material stores. There's Ballard Reuse, there's Earthwise in Soto, and then Second Use Building Materials in Soto. So those are really good stores, and they're not just good for like 2x4s and windows and stuff. You can go in there and find some really neat knickknacks and little home hardware and just things, housewares and things. So it's a fun trip. If you haven't been to one, I recommend it. And the other thing that we do, my wife and I, is we'll go to antique malls, antique stores. Some are in Seattle. Soto has a big antique mall. There's some up north, and there's some down south in Puyallup and stuff. And so an antique store is a great way to find lightly used, very very durable or very well-made products sometimes. So I just would encourage folks to, think outside of the department store and go for some of these. And often these stores are locally owned, family-owned kind of operations. So that's also a plus in my book. So
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. When you were talking about kind of the bigger things, it made me think of, we're seeing a lot, our drivers are showing us that there's a lot of packaging. People are ordering new furniture, new fixtures, new bathroom cabinets, and they come in all this cardboard and styrofoam and all those things. And while those things, either you can set out the big boxes for extra recycling pickup if you break them down. You can get special item pickup for that styrofoam. That's still a lot of packaging that you could totally prevent by going to one of these kind of like second use stores. So it's a really good point. I talked about going to local bookstore and just being like, I don't need receipts or I don't need bags. But my biggest one is that I know a lot of grocery stores are starting to allow people to bring their reusable bags back. Not every place does. And during the kind of this whole ordeal, I really didn't want more plastic bags or more paper bags. And so my tip that I still do is that I actually have them just put my groceries back in the cart I was using. Right. Because I've already been touching it. That's already the cart I've been using. I have my reusable bags in the car so people don't feel uncomfortable if they haven't kind of met that threshold of being okay with bags. I just push it out to the car. And actually, often what I found is every checker, I'm like, this is a little odd, but can you just put it back in the cart? And a lot of them are like, we're happy to do it because that means I don't have to keep bagging it.
Becca, by now they've seen it all. They've seen every type of situation come through the store. So they're not going to, you and your unique requests are not going to be. But no, seriously, I think there were a couple stores with the recent, spike in COVID situations. Yeah. There was a store here in Ballard that went back to no bags at all. Like not their bags only were the only bags that you use. Like you couldn't even bag your groceries in your bags in your cart. So that is the only way to do your reusable bags in this local store is to push the cart full of your groceries out to the parking lot and do it at your car. And they say they welcome that. You can do that if you want, or you can use paper. That's how I ended up with these paper bags. Was that I just thought, it seems like another step. I won't do it, but I could have easily done that.
It's actually worked. It feels like any new behavior, it takes like 1 or 2 times to get used to it. Yeah. But it works great for me. I have to push the cart to my cart anyway, and so it's easy enough for me to just pop the trunk, put them into the reusable bags, and put them in the trunk. So I would encourage you folks, if those of you who are out there, give that a shot. It has worked really well for me, and I don't have any more plastic bags in my house or paper bags. Right. So that's my little small trick. So, and I have a feeling more stores may be going back with the recent spike in cases. So it's kind of a good behavior to practice. And sometimes when you leave your reusable bags in the car, you're like, I forgot them. But push the cart out. They're in your trunk waiting for you.
That's right. You always got them. And it's easy to keep them handy. I mean, we always keep a bundle of them. So one other note on that I wanted to mention is that there are some websites. There is that Shop Your Block. Yeah. There's the Office of Economic Development for City of Seattle does Shop Local, Shop Your Block type thing. The Intentionalists is a non-government organization kind of group, and they are they provide lists of different stores and things as well. So that whole effort of buying local, there's a lot of resources on the web available if you just do a little searching, a little clicking around.
Which is cool. I mean, it's kind of like, you're hitting it on all fronts, less packaging, you're supporting local businesses. You can maybe like take yourself out for a walk to break the monotony. So it's all good. And you find unique, different gifts too. So definitely, I think we will definitely be reminding all of you guys to check those things out. And so next week's weekly waste challenge, I usually introduce them, but Pat, this was one that was out there.
Well, I feel like we kind of covered this a little bit, but we'll jump back into it because 'tis the season. We're all going to be purchasing gifts and stuff. So it's shop for reusables. It's going. The challenge is really to go into these places that have used products and shop for them. And that's not just in brick and mortar stores. You can do that online. eBay, of course, now seems to be a marketplace for for new products galore. But when eBay first came out, it was all used. I mean, it was like. Yeah. It was all, owner to owner, person to person, and that's how it started. And that was Craigslist as well. And Craigslist, of course, has a lot of categories too that are dealer sale items. But anyway, just looking for those options. You can certainly find a lamp or an item that you want to purchase, a mixer or something that you might want to get for someone. But the idea is if you do a little searching, spend a little time on some of these websites, there's a number of different, websites where you can purchase things that are lightly used, and then all the stores around, from the antique stores to whatever. So again, we're going to come back to this challenge next week. I always get ahead of myself a little bit here. That's the challenge. Exciting.
Absolutely.
Buy reusable.
So new to you, shopping reusable. So we'll bring you some examples next week. I've already got some good ideas. So, all right, folks, thank you guys so much for joining us. It is so fantastic to come to you guys every week and answer your questions. Please, please, please keep them coming. The show runs on you. So we are.
And send us the packaging pictures.
Yes.
Totally. We really want, as we're going to build this up, we're going to have a whole library of packaging picture questions that we want to come back to folks with during our Packaging Palooza show later this month. Absolutely.
Yeah. Keep those coming. You guys got 2 weeks to send them to us any way you want. So we'll take them. That'll be super fun. So that's a wrap. That's another episode. Thank you guys so much. We hope that you find this as useful information from your utility. And with that, I'm Becca Fong. Remember, life's a little bit simpler with less stuff.
Nice. And I'm Pat Kaufman. Remember to recycle right. Have a good week, everyone.
All right, folks. See you next week. Have a good one.
See you, Becca. Bye.
Bye.